thank you for, on behalf of the cast, the crew, the organizers, and everyone who has worked on this project. Thank you for on behalf of the cast, crew, organizers and production team, and everyone who was part of this project, this ongoing project, which actually started in 2015. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for watching this performance. Thank you for staying on for a brief discussion, which we hope will, add something to this evening. Thank you, Pia, Selvi, Viranthi, Ranmali, Sanjeewa for performing this evening. A very special thank you to Mr. I'm sure most of you know, Dr. Devanesan Nesiah, who was one among almost 60 senior Sri Lankans who we have talked to put these pieces together. So I don't want to talk too much. I'll just pass the mic on to the artists this evening for them to maybe just give a brief introduction of themselves and tell you all about how they interacted with this piece. So Pia, if you can start with you.
Well, today is the first day that I'm performing this piece. So I'm the newest to the group. I think also this piece is different from everything that you've seen from the other three pieces today, my piece in particular, because it doesn't have any political or historical new information or revelation to offer you. It is different in that it is a piece that I think is completely about right now, and I think all of us can absolutely relate to it. Either we can relate to it in the position that she is in, oh my goodness, I'm overwhelmed by this, or as I felt, from the position of her children. And personally, when I first read this, I thought, oh my God, this is exactly what I do to my mother. And when I gave her the script, she said, oh, this has been written about me. So I think in that sense, that we all know what this is about. There's so much expectation for technology to be embraced, and we need it. But it is such a difficult thing, and the generation that takes it for granted doesn't realize we don't realize what we're asking. So while this piece is different, I think it is something that perhaps we can all go home and apply in our lives. Be a little more patient, be a little kinder. Realize that what is taking you 10 seconds is a 25-step thing for the older generation.
I started working on this project from the start in 2015, and I'm still here because I'm enjoying it, and I see the value it's adding to us as a community and us as a nation. They say that history is written by the winners. But that is not the entire history of a nation. There are alternative histories of people who actually go through these events personally, and their experiences and how they interpreted these events is equally valid. In some instances, it's more valid than the formal written history. And so, I think this is an attempt by Viranthi to document what's happened through the eyes of the people who went through these events. And these are very, very valuable, and they should be documented and also brought to the awareness of our nation as a whole. And so I would request the government, the donors, the international opinion, and all the other institutions that have the opportunity to spread and progress this further, that they should do whatever they can and make it a little bit more useful and valuable for the memorialization of the events that had happened. Thank you.
For me, I was inspired last year when I saw the 7 Decades show that Viranthi did with the rest of the group, which will be performed on the 5th and 6th, if I'm not mistaken, at the LAN event. Don't miss it, because that's not something to be missed at all. I was inspired by that, and from the beginning of this year, I've been working with Viranthi's group, where we traveled to Ceylon and did 2 other places early this year. So for me, the piece I did with the Disappearance Commission, if any one of you didn't get it, it was about the Disappearance Commission, which has a lot of significance, a lot of questions unanswered. Mothers, wives, sisters, still waiting for answers, still waiting for closure. All they want is closure. And it has a lot of significance for me as a mother, as a widow, as someone who can really relate to the character. And I enjoyed performing the piece, where I could find a lot of relevance to it. And all that I can say through my character is, please give them a chance to say it all. Give anyone a chance to say it all.
For me, it's the first time I'm working with Stages Theatre Group since February. I haven't seen the 7 Decades show in full. And I just think Viranthi and Stages have done an amazing job of documenting and then giving life to narration and stories that bring to life our history. When I read this script, the one called the Ceylon Coup, a lot of it was news to me. So, and I found entertainment value in it. And I think there's no better way really than to use theatre as a tool to relate stories that will educate the younger generation. So I really think this has huge potential, and if I was a student in school or in university, I would much rather see this performed to be informed than reading it in a book or a textbook or an article. So yeah, I'm a fan of the DCS series.
සමාවෙන්න මට සිංහලෙන් කතා කරන්න වෙලා තියෙනවා මගේ වැරද්දක් සහ භූමියේ වැරද්දක් එක නැවතත් සමාවෙන්න මම ස්ටේජ් තියටර් ගෲප් එකකට අවුරුදු දෙකමාරක වගේ වෙලාවක ඉඳලා වැඩ කරනවා මම කතා කරන්න කැමති ටිකක් මේ අපේ මේක ගැන අපි මේ කතා කරපු කාරණාවල් එකක්වත් බොහෝ දේවල් නෙමෙයි. අපි දන්නවා මේ දැනට ලංකාවේ ජීවත් වෙන අවුරුදු 80කට වැඩි අයත් එක්ක කතා බහ කරලා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අත්දැකීම් වලින් සහ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ තොරතුරු වලින් තමයි අපි මේ මොනොලොග්ස් පවාදී මේ හැම එකක්ම කම්පියුටර් එක මේ Manik Farm මේ හැම එකක්ම ඇත්තටම මේ ලංකාවේ තවමත් ජීවත් වෙන අවුරුදු 80කට වැඩි අයදී කාරණාවක්. ඉතින් මම කියන්න උත්සාහ කරන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ රටත් එක්ක වයසට ගිය මිනිස්සුන්ගේ කතන්දර ටිකක් තමයි මේ අපි ගාව තියෙන්නේ. තව තියෙනවා කතා කරන්න. ඉතින් මේ ඒගොල්ලෝ හරි ඉක්මනින් අපිට මික්ස් වෙන්න කිව්තු. බොහොම ළඟ. තව කෙටි කාලයයි තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් අපිට ඒගොල්ලන්ගෙන් තව ගොඩාක් තොරතුරු ටිකක් ගන්න තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මම ඒගොල්ලන්ට වඩා ගොඩාක් අඩු වයසක කෙනෙක්. ඉතින් මේ අත්දැකීම් එක්ක වැඩ කරනකොට මට දැනෙච්ච කාරණාවක් තමයි අපි අවුරුදු 5කින් 6කින් විතර ඉස්සරහට යනවා එක අවුරුදු 80ක මිනිස්සෙක් එක්ක කතා කරනවා. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අත්දැකීම් ටික ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ තොරතුරු ටික අපි දැනගත්තොත් අපිට මොකද්ද ඉතිහාසය අපිට උනේ කියලා අපිට තේරුම් ගන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. ඉතින් මේ නාට්‍ය කණ්ඩායමත් එක්ක වැඩ කරද්දී මට ලැබිච්ච ප්‍රබලම අත්දැකීම තමයි ඒක.
I'm afraid I missed almost the entire performance. I saw a little bit of the last one, but unfortunately I got delayed to come. So I won't be able to comment on what has gone on, but I have lived in there. I score with all the others. 82 years in this lovely island, and I have enjoyed living here. Although all my children and grandchildren are overseas, I opted to stay in this country, and I will be happy to take part in any discussion. But I won't be able to comment on the performances so far because I wasn't there. Thank you.
Yeah, so just to give a bit of context, so this project known as Dear Children Sincerely, and picking up on what Sanjeewa said, what Sanjeewa said was that this project has been around, it's based on conversations we have had with senior Sri Lankan citizens, and we were looking at people essentially who grew up during the colonial era and have basically seen all the changes that this ancient civilization and new country experienced. So you heard from the artists, you've seen the performance. The purpose of one of the main primary purposes of this discussion is to open up a discussion with the audience. The purpose of the conversations we had with seniors was to get them to reflect about the story of Sri Lanka through their experiences. So if you have any questions, comments, observations, it's open now to you to participate in this discussion. We are very fortunate to have Dr. Devanesan with us because he was also one of the people who participated in the discussion that we had to put out this piece. So the forum is open now.
Hi. I'm curious to find out if you have an oral history archive that's being planned. Or are you taping these stories, either the people who themselves who narrate the stories or performs? Are you planning such a project?
Yeah, so all the conversations so there's a team of researchers who have had the conversations with the senior Sri Lankan citizens, and yes, all the conversations have been recorded. Of course, there were some people wanted anonymity, Some didn't want us to record them. Some outright didn't want to be. That right at the initial stages, we did have some video footage, but then we realized that people felt a bit uncomfortable in front of cameras. So we did away with that idea quite early on in the project. But yes, to answer your question, yes, we have compiled the conversations that we have had, and right now the focus is on, because it's an ongoing process. So right now the focus is on putting together performances. In the smaller performances that you saw, like for example what you saw today, the monologues, and then the larger performances style which you will see at the Lion event, covering 7 decades of Sri Lanka. So yes, there is.
And you'll make these archives available to the general public in some way online?
That is a decision we haven't still reached as yet. Right now, the focus is on doing performances because Viranti's forte is theatre, and right now our focus is on performing it on stage. We haven't taken that decision as yet.
First, let me congratulate you. I'm a visual anthropologist, and I really enjoyed the show. And something that I look into is storytelling and oral traditions. And this is something which I really was looking forward to, and I really liked the presentation. So first of all, it's a great thing that you have done. But I was also interested to know that after this collection of the data, how did you translate it into the performance, which is the storytelling part, collection of the oral traditions, the stories as per se, and translating them into performance. So how did that happen? What kind of thinking went behind that? Thank you.
Maybe one of the performers can answer that question, because yeah.
I think even Sanjeewa can contribute on this. We did a lot of devising. If you know what I mean, we devised all these things, we improvised, we did a lot of activities, exercises to explore the themes that are being highlighted through each of our pieces. Sanjeev, if you want to add something, happy make performances, devise karapu exercises for that.
කලින් කිව්වා වගේ අවුරුදු 80ට වැඩි අයට තියෙන අත්දැකීම් ටික ඒගොල්ලෝ ජීවිතේ විඳපු දේවල් ටික අපි විඳලා නැහැ. එතකොට අපි නළුවෝ විදිහට ලොකු අභියෝගයක් තිබුණා අපි කොහොමද ඒ කාරණාවල් වලට යන්නේ කියලා. එතකොට ඒ විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙන්න ඕන රුවන්තිට එයා හරි බොහොම උපක්‍රමශීලීව අපිව ගත්තා එකට. හැමතිස්සෙම දැන් අපි හිතමුකෝ අපි 1940 ගැන කතා කරනවා නම් ඒ 40ට ඒ කියන්නේ අපි දන්න දේවල් ටික නෙමෙයි අපිට එතනට අරගෙන ගියා. එතනට අපිට යන්න උනා. ඒ 1940 ගැන අපිට අධ්‍යයනය කරන්න උනා පුදුමාකාර විදිහට. එතකොට එහෙම ලොකු අධ්‍යයනයක් එක්ක තමයි අපිට මේ ඒ චරිත ටික හොයාගන්න ඕනේ. දැන් 60 මයි රන්මලි කරපු 60 දශකයේ වෙච්ච දේ ගැන මට අත්දැකීමක් නැහැනේ. එතකොට මම මොකද්ද කරන්නේ නළුවෙක් විදියට? එතකොට මට කොච්චර දේවල් ටික හොයන්න තියෙනවද? එතකොට අපිට සිද්ධ වුණේ මෙන්න මේ අර කියන මේ ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨ පුරවැසියොත් එක්ක තියෙන සාකච්ඡාව. සහ ඊට අමතරව අපිට මේ දේශපාලනය සම්බන්ධව අපි විශේෂයෙන්ම කියන්නේ ඒක තමයි තියටර් එක්සර්සයිස් ගොඩක් කළෙත් ඒ කාරණාවල එක්කම තමයි කියන්නේ රුවන්ති ගොඩක් වෙලාවට උත්සාහ කළේ අපේ මේ මනසත් එක්ක වැඩ කරන්න. හැමතිස්සෙම කොහොමද මනස ආපස්සට ගෙනියන්නේ? එතන ඉඳලා අපි හිතන්නේ කොහොමද කියන ගොඩක් එක්සර්සයිස් කරා. ඒක දැන් අපිට කරලා බෙන්න දැන් මෙතන ඒකට ඒක ලොකු ප්‍රොසෙස් එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ මාස ගානක මේ ප්‍රොසෙස් එකක් ඒක.
Yeah, so what Sanjeev said was that it was a process of several months where basically as actors and as artists who haven't obviously experienced firsthand what the seniors told them, it was a process of working with Viranthi. There was a lot of discussion, there were a lot of theatre exercises, and it was also an exercise in memory. He said that there was a lot of having to deal with to be able to effectively translate the memories of these senior citizens onto stage. Anyone else would like to say something? Did anyone else from the audience, if you would like to pick up on?
I'd just like to add that Viranthi worked with a large team of researchers, and these interviews didn't happen overnight. They met with people on many days, many occasions. Sometimes we'd sit and talk for 3 hours and we'd not get anything, and then we'd go back again, and then when they felt more comfortable, they'd spend the whole day with us. So we had lots and lots of voice recordings, which later on we had to come and go through and transcribe, and from that we picked things. And then from the way people spoke, they would give more importance or spend more time on an event that really touched them. So the stories were there. It just had to be translated. Some of them were in English, some were in Tamil, some were in Sinhalese, so they had to be translated into the different languages, because also the project is done in all 3 languages, not only in English.
Thank you very much. I've seen different versions of this.
And if you could just, if I could just interrupt you, and yeah, you just hold on to that thought. Yeah.
As I said, I missed the performances, but I would like to mention some of my early memories. I was born in Jaffna, and I had spent about 10 years there before I moved to Colombo with my family, with my parents and siblings. The Jaffna I knew then was fairly cosmopolitan, predominantly Tamil of course, but there were a lot of Muslims, a lot of Sinhalese too, and some of them played critical roles in society in Jaffna. After I came to Colombo, really I missed learning Sinhalese by moving to Colombo. I'll explain. There was an organization called the Jaffna Youth Congress in Jaffna, consisting mainly of senior students and young teachers, and they passed a resolution saying that all the schools ought to teach all 3 languages, and unfortunately that was followed only in Jaffna. A few Sinhalese schools in Colombo also taught Tamil and English, but it was Jaffna which followed the 3-language policy. By moving to Colombo, I missed learning Sinhalese because everyone spoke English at the school I was in Colombo, and there was no need to learn any other language. My home language was gradually changed from Tamil to English, and I missed learning Sinhalese till I entered public service in 1959. And then I was handicapped by the fact that my Sinhalese was not very good, and it's still not very good. But I served mostly in Sinhalese majority areas or in Colombo, and I enjoyed serving in different cities, and in between I went abroad for higher studies. So I also enjoyed learning different disciplines. My first degree was in mathematics. Then a dozen years later, that is in Colombo. Dozen years later, I studied economics at Sussex. And another dozen years later, I went into public administration and public policy at Harvard, where I completed my doctorate. So I enjoyed this exchange from public administration and academic matters, and also serving in different parts of Sri Lanka. Badulla, Batticaloa, Manna, Jaffna, and Colombo, and a lot of traveling all over the country. And sadly, and somewhat paradoxically, Jaffna was more cosmopolitan then than it is now. Now it is rather mono-Tamil, which I feel very sorry about. I hope it will be reversed, and some of the people, some of the Sinhalese and Muslims who left Jaffna will come back. Then I look forward to a better Sri Lanka. In fact, I said it was a lovely country, but it's also very exasperating in that you get unexpected bursts of chauvinism on the parts of Sinhalese, Tamil, Muslims. At the same time, I think compared to our neighbors, we are much more united in that we visit our neighbors, all our neighbors, irrespective of ethnicity, and we are able to have a conversation and relationship with people of all ethnic groups, which is not so in our neighboring countries. Not to the extent that we have here. So our problems are soluble, although we seem to be having a problem in completing the solution. So I'll stop now, and if there are any specific questions, I'd like to answer.
Yes, sir. No, I think anybody wanted to ask Dr. Nesiah a question. I mean, it's great to have this comment at the end, a positive comment. But I would like to hand over the microphone if anybody wants to ask a question, because this is something very specific I want to ask, but I think we had a lovely final note now.
I also would like to congratulate Dr. Nesiah. I wish you could speak to bigger audiences. You definitely would be a unifying factor in this divided country of the world. Thank you for giving us hope.
She said, can you just maybe repeat that again?
Mic closer.
I just want to congratulate you for closing up the sessions on a very positive note and giving a very balanced view of the situation in the past and also the current situation in the country. And I hope you would get an opportunity to speak to bigger audiences, because I believe you would be a unifying factor in today's context. You can shed a lot of light on the history and what happened in the bygone era. Thank you.
No, Gihan, I think the conversation is one, because I had a specific question.
So you can ask a specific question. I mean, that would be good, because I think there's been a lot of general comment. A specific question would be welcome.
I had never seen Ranmali's act up to now, I have seen different combinations, and the plays have, the monologues have grown, and I think it's very difficult to do these monologues, remembering these lines and conveying the messages. Only one thing, Ranmali, I took some time to locate myself in the Mrs. Bandaranaike's coup. That was Mrs. Bandaranaike abduction coup, no? That you were referring to? No? Then I have missed the bus.
There is no abduction in this.
No. No, there was this attempt to topple the government by FC Disserum and Co. That's right. So now I had to catch those derricks and here and there, Royce and all, and then get into that. It took some time. Now, would people, also young people today, because I don't know, I'm in the 60s, remember and connect to that kind of monologue, which was very interesting how you communicated with Sanjeewa, and I mean there are a lot of laughter, but the story of the hypocrisy of religion, language, and Father Matthew Peace also suddenly parachuted, which I didn't know. Very interesting.
Nor did I till I read the...
So now history goes on, Father Matthew Peace becomes another figure. Now all this is highly coded. I mean, you have to know the names, you have to know the situations. So would it always reach the younger generation without footnotes?
Good point. I don't know.
Speaking for the younger generation, I think that was the most on-point monologue in today's context, because I feel like history was the monologue.
It goes as a monologue.
Yeah, so good. I think speaking for the younger generation, that was the most on-point monologue, because I feel like history is repeating itself. I mean, considering what went on today and all that, I think that was just really on point. It's not the details, but it just seems that we haven't learned from our mistakes at all.
Yeah, can I just add to that? I agree with Mahesh. You don't have to really know the details of the history to be able to understand where she was coming from and the character she was portraying, her memories and her views based on what she had seen, what she had gone through. Like, it was very relatable. I don't feel that you needed to know the names and the dates and things like that to understand what it was all about.
Ranmali, even for you it was a bit of a learning curve, right?
It was. As I said, I actually didn't know 70-80% of the details in the script till I read it. And I think since I haven't spoken myself to the person who narrated the story over a period of time from which Viranthi created this script, I think if I ever did, I'd love to find out what of it was entertainment at the time, gossip within living rooms kind of thing, and what were the real facts. I'm not saying anything was false, but this is Colombo society. So, was it Chinese whispers where things gathered momentum as it went on and got included in the script, a few little, nice bits and pieces. I don't know. And Viranthi is not here to really give you a really, honest and straightforward answer. She's in the UK. So maybe in August, if we open it up after the performances, maybe there might be a little more light shed on it. But I agree with you in that this won't, probably none of this will mean much to 7-8-year-olds. But I would think anybody above, 20 or 18 or 20, I think there's a lot of potential to have people find out what happened through all the stories.
And also on that booklet, there has been printed.
And I think that last line where he said, you don't know which way the ashes went, I think that's very, very poignant, and, you still don't know which way it's going. So, I think that to me was the most relatable one.
Regarding the script, just note, this particular script was almost entirely exactly the way the person narrated it. Recommendation. I think sometimes though, looking around here today as well, we might be missing the children. So maybe the focus and your target group, maybe, I don't know if it's a matter of going and performing it in schools or universities. I feel like looking around, it's an older generation who would have lived through some of these generations. And with our atrocious history education at the moment, with barely anything of post-1948 history in our textbooks, all of this is anecdotal. So I think it's really important if you can target the children in their children.
Yeah, I think when you say dear children, and we are talking about very senior citizens, so children can be in a large spectrum of people. But our thinking behind this was to target more the youth than the children, but I mean, Viranthi is not here, like Ranmali said, she's overseas right now. But yeah, this is maybe it's a good recommendation.
Sorry again. Actually, this project started with the objective of taking these to university students and all of that. And actually, we have the next session of monologues in Jaffna, specifically targeting university students and the younger generation in Tamil.
Yeah, at the risk of rewinding the tape, I agree a little bit back to the coup monologue with the first gentleman who's more my age group. Because if you're not knowledgeable on that part of immediate post-independence history, and if you're really younger than 50, it really takes a little while. I'm not sure everyone will get it, that this was an attempted coup. It did take a while, but I know the whole story, so I got it right away. So it might be interesting to tweak the script a little bit, especially for university students who don't get taught anything. And I think there are actually 2 attempted coups, but I'm not sure about that. One nitpicky point on the script, there was no SLBC, that was Radio Ceylon. So it says it was broadcast over SLBC, didn't exist. So that's just a little helpful hint. I think it's an interesting thing, it's waging war against the Queen, and also another point, they were acquitted by the Privy Council, which also is interesting, that they could go up, get tried, and then some nameless people in the UK, England, acquitted them. So that's, I